Hi Aries, welcome to Eight of Cups Tarot and welcome to your cards for May. I am so sorry that these readings are running late, and it's actually kind of funny at this point because, I don't ever like to rush through a reading because I like to give it time for messages to kind of flow in and out. I don't like to put time limitations on them. But, I've been stressed because my fire signs and my air signs are always last because it takes longer for me to kind of connect to your energy. I don't have a lot of the fire and air elements in my chart. So I have to kind of adjust to a different energy than what I'm used to. And it just takes a little bit more time to really pick up for the general readings. A personal reading, you just pick up on somebody's energy. But it's a little bit different with general readings. Why am I rambling on already? North Node moving into Gemini, we'll cover that shortly. But the point is, as I'm starting to get nervous and wanting to push these readings out, I find that the ones that I'm saving for last are the most in-depth, and extra cards are kind of flying out and they're taking on a life of their own, and so it just is what it is. Things are just gonna flow to me, and then I'm gonna flow them over your way, and hopefully it resonates. If it doesn't resonate, check your other signs. Always check your rising sign, especially for career, life purpose kind of issues, for social, friendship kind of creative projects. You want to look to where your Venus is. Relationships, you kind of want to look at Venus, and you definitely want to look at your moon sign. And general life stuff will be your sun sign. Now, a lot of people say that they don't relate to their sun sign or their ascendant, and that makes sense. Our sun is our identity and our ego, and we may not see our ego as clearly as other people see our ego, right? And then your ascendant is sort of the energy that you give off to other people. So you may not see that clearly either, but what you will always resonate is your moon, your emotions, your soul, the things that you want. So it's always safe to go with your moon sign first. I have a visitor on my lap today. Somebody's being extremely needy. I recently went back to the office and I'm not at home as much anymore, and so now that I am home, I have a 7-pound dog that's just kind of stuck to me at all times, so hope you guys don't mind. So a lot of stuff going on for May, Aries. Lots and lots of stuff, and I think it's gonna be another profound month for you. A lot of major arcana coming out for you. It's kind of funny because all of my signs, I pull the card, representing your energy, and it feels like all of the signs have kind of this off-the-wall energy. I think I did Sag last, and it was kind of the King of Disc, which is, a Taurus, Capricorn, Earth sign energy, and it was just, everything's been a little bit opposites. And of course that tells me that we're looking at things that are coming up with the shift of the moon's nodes. The first week of May, in fact tomorrow, the nodes shift. Now, there's a little bit of controversy over that, depending on, as an astrologer, how you calculate those nodes. Because remember, it's not a star. It's a point. It's a meeting point in your chart. So it's like a shadow point of the moon. So when you, let me put him down here, sorry. It's kind of like a month-long process, this switching, but you're going to feel it right away. We're all going to feel it right away. You're going to see it play out in the news. immediately as well. Stepping out of that Cancer energy and into the Gemini energy. For you, that's 4th house, 3rd house stuff. You know, you might feel a little bit of relief from this as the energy is less dense, less emotional. But rest assured, before that final node, over the next month or so, you know, that's when those nodes are at their strongest, is when they ingress into other signs, when they make that transition, changing us at a soul level, often changing the actual direction of our lives. So depending on where your North Node is in your chart, you want to kind of take a look at that and see how it affects your energy as well. But Aries, if you're an Aries rise especially, the North Node in Cancer brought you a lot of reflection about probably your childhood, your early upbringing, a lot of emotional work and karma that had to be cleared out so that you could kind of open that heart chakra. You know, Aries were kind of put through it this year. There's a lot of energy in your 10th house, but that's your South Node. It was all there with your South Node, meaning that there was so much work and purging that had to be done for you to reach certain levels of success. And you had to reach this area of contentment in your most intimate emotional spheres. And that's exactly how you're coming out this month. The Prince of Cups. Now, it's not the King of Cups, so you haven't mastered the emotional realms, which tells me that you are still up for some rather emotional waves. And that's how I'm seeing these play out in the weeks, is kind of these emotional ups and downs that we kind of have to ride. And your environment is a Hanged Man. This tells me a very clear story. And the story is that the biggest transformation for my Aries isn't the Venus retrograde. It isn't the nodes that are getting ready to turn. This is 12th house stuff. Hanged Man, card of Pisces, where you sort of have to sit and surrender. You're in a state of, I don't like to call it stagnation. It's really not. Like the Hermit card, I pick up stagnation, but the Hanged Man is just allowing your change in your perspective. New things to flow through you, information to come. You know, I get this sense that Aries you don't really know the whole story yet. You're not sure how any of this is going to play out. And so you're forced to surrender. Well, what's going on with Pisces, right? Like, what's going on in that area of your chart? Well, Mars is moving really quickly, finishing up its tour in Aquarius, and by mid-month, he moves into Pisces, your ruling planet in your 12th house. Mars has a bigger purpose this year. Your ruling planet, very soon after it rushes through this emotional area in your life, once you clear all of this out in the next month or so, things will look very different, because then Mars moves into Aries. Mars is at its strongest. It's exalted, and it gives you motivation and drive and power, magnetism, the ability to attract the things that you want. So this little stint in Pisces is really being orchestrated to prepare you for your Aries season, because I think it's going to be a doozy. So what are you going to do in May? Well, you're going to rest. You're going to rest and then you're going to learn a karmic lesson, and then you're going to rest, and you're going to learn a karmic lesson. And this will be all about surrendering and letting go, peeling back the layers and discovering what you find. Beginning of the month, Page of Cups in reverse, the Devil upright. Challenge card is the Chariot. You're coming out as a Prince of Cups, but your Page of Cups is reversed, rooted down by the Devil. Are my Aries in love? You might be smitten with somebody. You could also be having issues with your children, people that are younger than you, that are kind of becoming unruly, and you're kind of pulling out your hair, wondering how long this, if you are at home and you're homeschooling small children, God bless your soul, do something nice for yourself. I get it. It's becoming redundant, I know, and it's almost over. But I promise you, there will be a reason, there will be a reward for what you're struggling with in this first week. Sometimes things come into our lives just simply to point out our fears. There is some sort of a love relationship. Again, I'll say it 100 times over. If it's not a partnership, if it's not somebody that's catching your eye, that you kind of think, you want to make an offer for a date, or maybe, there's a friend that you're feeling a little bit more than friends. But at the same time that you kind of want to move forward and get these things going, being rooted down by the Devil tells me that there's so many fears. There's reasons why you're holding back. Are you holding back on emotions for somebody? Because it's so, the duality, the contradiction in all of it between what you truly want and the way that you act is very contradictory. Both cards representing the card of Cancer telling me that you may be falling back on ways in which you try to protect yourself emotionally. There may be old habits that are coming back here, old karmic patterns you've carried your entire life. Here's some tea. Maybe everything's good for an Aries when you're pursuing, but when somebody pursues you, you get real uncomfortable. And if May promises anything, it promises to make each and every one of us really uncomfortable. The second week, you get the Death card rooted down by the Ace of Pentacles, and your challenge card is the Five of Wands in reverse. Oh, Aries, there is definitely a transformation, an end. There is an ending, and I don't know. I feel like it's something that you're holding on to for dear life that really has to go. What you don't realize is whatever it is you're holding on to, however it is that you're protecting yourself, whatever it is you're not saying to the person that you really want to say the things to, has to go. You can't move on in that, and you realize it. Your challenge card being the Five of Wands in reverse. You may be faced with the urge to just walk away, to throw in the towel. You don't want to compete for a situation. Now we're talking Ace of Pentacles stuff. So in the second week, you may be career focused. You may be taking a position that's less than you deserve. You may be exhausted to be honest with you. I feel a lot of exhaustion coming out of the second week of the month. Death card and a Ace of Pentacles, if by chance you do. And I don't, again, please, I don't want to cause fear for anyone. I'm not saying that the second Monday of May you're going to walk in and find out you don't have a job anymore. I mean, I think we all sense where these things are going. If you're concerned, if there's worry, then I'm not really giving you any news that you probably don't already know or feel coming. If there is a loss of a job, there is no need to worry because another one comes in right behind it. Same if it's a relationship. I think if something comes to an end, another thing tries to slip in its place right away. But the Five of Wands in reverse has a challenge card. Tells me that you're going to need to fight for this. You're going to kind of need to stand up for yourself in some way in the second week of May. Here's the thing. I don't know. I just want to tell you, don't settle for less than what you deserve. Don't grasp for things. Don't overlook things. If somebody's doing something or acting in a way that makes you unhappy or uncomfortable, you know, May is just not the time to let it go. Any time that we're making exceptions and sacrificing ourselves and our happiness is going to bite us in the ass later, which comes into play in the second half of the month. This can also represent retracting an offer of some sort. You know, if there was like an engagement or something on the table that somebody might change their mind. You know, there's a lot of changes going on. But it's definitely not anything to fear. Even the really hard stuff, if you have to go through the really hard stuff this month, I don't think there's any surprises. I think the writing's kind of on the wall. We know what we have to do, and May's kind of like the having to do it. The major moments of destiny start in June and July with eclipse seasons. So we're still in purging mode. We're still in manifesting mode. We still need to keep it really clean in our thoughts and stay positive, and really have faith. Now, faith is more important than ever. You know, it's easy to say that you believe that the universe always has your back when things are going really good for you. You know, when you've got extra money in the bank and vacation plans and you know, all the things are going right, then it's easy to say, oh yeah, I believe. But when things fall apart, when things start to come undone, if in those times you could say, I gotta trust the process. I know that whatever the universe is taking from me is meant to be. It's meant to put me in a different place. If you have been asking and praying for change, then it's knocking on your doorstep, and any resistance in this month is kind of futile. You know, this is we're moving into an astrological phase where the idea of free will is somewhat laughable. If you're holding on to relationships and people with a death grip, exposing our fears that have come from early childhood issues, like issues of abandonment or mistrust, issues with females in general. I mean, you know, this is just an energy that we have to go through in preparation for what the universe is trying to bring in. we have to make the space. And May is a lot about making the space. It's also a lot about rewriting the stories. So if you look back at your life and you think of those really traumatic events that kind of changed everything, and think of all the different ways in which you can frame it for yourself. You know, you can look at it like, you know, a victim mentality, like, I had this great job and then people got sick and they closed my work and I couldn't pay my bills and all of this fell apart. And, you know, you could go into that victim mentality, of course. Of course, if it makes you feel better for a little while, you could stay there, because there's phases of grief and acceptance that we're all going to go through, and that's a lot of the phase, is the reckoning. It's always easier to look at all of the good things that came out of the bad things, you know, in hindsight. And the real strength lays in the knowing that while the bad things are happening, while the stuff is getting dismantled and chaos is seeking in, if then you could sit back and say, well, the universe has my back and this is what is meant to be, well, then you've reached a level of real success. And I think, you know, for an Aries to expect rewards this month might be a little bit too much, although right in the center of your reading is this giant Ace of Pentacles. The Empress is in reverse. And I also want to point out that I didn't have any reversals in my deck. Every reversal that is on this table right now is because it literally spun off the deck, out of my hands, onto the table, turned itself in that direction completely. Sometimes spirit really needs to be heard. Ace of Pentacles and the Empress in reverse. Bottom line, this, if you take nothing from this reading but this right here, that's really all you need to know. The universe wants to give you something. It really wants to give you something. But you are all stuck in your head about how you're not worthy of it, even if you don't realize it. You may not know this. You could be listening to this reading and you could say, she's full of shit. I have done all of the work. I do believe I deserve it. I want this very bad. Okay. Well, all I can say is my cards don't lie, my intuition doesn't lie, and you are just not aware of what's about to come up to the surface for you. You're going to figure it out. You're going to figure it out in the first 2 weeks. You're going to figure out how your fears, the limits that you put on yourself, how those are the blockages. And it's not anybody else. It isn't anybody else's fault. It's merely the way that you believe in yourself. The universe wants to hand you something, and you're looking at it after praying for it, after asking for it. You're staring it straight in the face and going, you know, can you come back later? Can I think about it? And May is all about discovering that. It's all about getting into that shadow work. I know, more shadow work, right? Well, we had a particularly insane South Node, so that is why we've been in this purging phase for so long. But if you look at the world and the way that it's changing, then it all makes sense, right? We needed to purge so much. Maybe instinctively we all spent the past year and a half really reckoning with our money, paying down our debts, because somehow we just had this crazy intuition that we needed to get that done. And thank goodness, because we're in such a good position now where others maybe weren't prepared. For example, so May is trying to prepare you for the next level, and by prepare you, it means turn that Empress card right side up. The third week is where things get really hairy. The third week is also when Venus goes retrograde, Jupiter stations, Saturn stations in the second week. You know, there's so much going on in this third week. The two benefic planets, the planets that rule your ninth house, your second house, your money, your values, the way that you feel about yourself, and your seventh house, how your partners feel about you. I mean, could we be under any more of a severe transition here? This is where it all comes together. This is where you find that missing puzzle piece. What's the missing puzzle piece? Getting out of your head. What's the missing puzzle piece? When you stop attaching outcomes to everything. What's the missing puzzle piece? When you sell yourself way too short. When you say things like, I want a relationship where the sex is bomb. And then you get a relationship where the sex is bomb and you realize you really want to fall in love. So why do you keep asking for less than what you really want? Aries? When are you going to start to let everybody know that what you really want is that thing that maybe you didn't believe in for a really long time? Maybe an Aries doesn't want to look like a hypocrite, so they just keep their mouth shut and not tell anybody what they really, really, truly feel because they don't even want to tell themselves. What are you going to manifest from this? What are you going to manifest when you feel like you don't deserve, or you're not worthy, or you're not beautiful enough, or you don't have enough money, or you can't attract? What are you going to get from there? From that place, what do you think the universe is going to bring you when you don't believe you deserve anything? This is what May is going to change. May is going to change the level of your fertility. Maybe physically. So be careful there. Be careful with the way that you're manifesting in relation to the way that you feel about yourself. And please be wary of the fact that the first 2 weeks in May can be extremely exhausting. And your soul may be really, really tired. And you know that tired in your bones when you actually get kind of weepy and sorry for yourself? You know that kind of tired that you feel every once in a while? That tiredness that sinks in, that you don't just feel tired, but you kind of really feel alone. And for some Aries, the idea of being alone might actually really hit at a profound level. You know, the idea of mortality being in our face all the time, watching the news, the idea of our very mortality, the idea in our head that we could die alone, that, you know, maybe if you're single and you feel like you're going to be single forever, and that's okay. It's okay until when? Until you get sick and you need somebody to take care of you and nobody's there. You know, I've heard actually a couple girlfriends say this to me, like, oh my God, I'm totally single. I could die in my apartment. Nobody would even know for weeks. You know, some of us might really be dealing with that fear. Remember, it's just a fear. It's not a reality. It certainly isn't what's meant to be. But going down and exploring that road of that fear and why you feel that way might lead you in a direction that makes you understand why you don't feel worthy of love, why love isn't coming into your life. You know, it's a journey at this point. It's a journey. You're picking a road, and I think you're going to go down it. And what you discover is going to vastly change your direction. The fourth week is energy. Like, I love this for my Aries. The Page of Wands and the King of Swords. Page of Wands, you are creative. You are back in your element. There are no attachments. There are no outcomes, no predetermined plans. You're kind of up for anything that catches your eye and catches your interest, and it doesn't matter how long it stays. Now remember, while Venus remains in your third house, which is an okay house for Venus to kind of go retrograde in, it's making a square to Neptune in your 12th house. This can it could become really tricky. First of all, you may have some real trippy dreams. Awesome. Enjoy them. Don't drive yourself completely batty trying to interpret them. Just enjoy them. But the second thing is that people might make promises to you that aren't really true. Now, that's not to say that everybody you come across is a liar. You know, that's not at all what I'm saying. It's just that promises might be made at this time, and when fall comes along, this person may be nowhere to be found. So just be careful. But Page of Wands wants you to explore, and King of Swords says that what you find may put you on a path. It might change your perspective. It might give you a new direction to move in. And that King of Swords is all about the direction that you're about to move in. It's about clearing a path. It's about making a plan, and it's about bringing the plan to action. And when that comes in, right around Gemini season, and we move in from, you know, Gemini season is going to be pretty exciting, you know, until we have Cancer season and that eclipse. But bear with me, we're talking about May. But the thing is, your challenge card is the Seven of Swords. Again, that card of deception, Aries. If you're meeting somebody new, take it slow. Don't run off and get married. Don't make major commitments. Yes, it could feel really beautiful. Yeah, it could be crazy passionate, great conversation. You could find this person to be really charming, really smart, really, you know, intelligent, and you just may not be seeing all their sides right away. So just be wary of that and protect yourself. Your coming out overall energy is the Queen of Wands in reverse. Pretty much the same as the Empress in reverse, right? It's being confused about what you want, what your desires truly are, because they're changing, because your vibration is changing, because in all of this death and rebirth energy, there's a new you, which creates a new vibration, and the people around you have to learn to adjust to that vibration. There's change in the air, there's change all around, and you kind of have to go with it. Your card Oracle card. The spiritual journey is one of constant transformation. To grow, you must give up the struggle to remain the same and learn to embrace change at all times. I can promise you that wherever you exert resistance of change is where things are going to become the most frustrating. And the Rumi card that you got, oh, this reading is long. I'm sorry, Aries. The Rumi card you got, card number 4, the Cloak of Christ. You know, that really suggests that during a time in which you might feel like you're losing things, like things are slipping away, you're being very protected. So you sort of just have to allow the unfolding. There could be some deep, profound emotional things that come up to the surface. They come up to the surface and you have to feel them. You have to feel them and acknowledge them, and then you have to let them go. These things are not going to hurt you. In fact, not facing them is the very thing that's hurting you. And I think during this 12th house Mars transit, a lot of mental anguish is going to be resolved. A lot of healing is going to come into you, and you are protected by the universe at the time. This is very much planned and determined. This is all how it was supposed to go. And now it's your time, Aries, to heal and bring an end to the old ways, the old hurts, you know, the old ways in which we didn't allow the good relationships and we suffered in the bad ones. You know, we learned. And we bring that wisdom to the table with us. And nothing, you know, you have to be grateful for all of the experiences, the good and the bad. But most importantly, you have got to get out of the energy of not deserving or inviting love in your life. That has to be solved, and it will be. I pulled a couple extra love cards kind of as a token of saying thanks for putting up with me being late this month. And actually 5 of them came out. So this may or may not apply to everyone. This seems like kind of a more specific love reading, but if you are somebody who's looking for very specific love and relationship advice, usually the beginning of the month readings are a little bit more general. You have to kind of apply them to different areas of your life. They cover a wider span of subjects. So here's where I kind of honed in on the love relationship for you. And I'm really seeing something here that's kind of like a in and out of your life thing. Like sometimes it's really passionate and good. And then fears and doubts and insecurities come in. Now, sometimes it's you, sometimes it's your partner. This could be an instance where one of you will feel really strong and attractive in the relationship, like things are going really well, and the other one starts to go cold, and then vice versa. So your energies may be counterplaying off of each other, but it's keeping it going nonetheless. In the past, you know, there was, I don't like to show these cards because I feel like they'll probably get banned on YouTube. They're of a very strong sexual nature, so I'm just going to kind of describe the energy. 3 of chalices, 3 of cups, traditional Rider Waite, there may have been a third party situation, an infidelity, an involvement with another party of some sort. Or it could have just been that the beginning of this relationship was very sexually charged, right? It was all about sex. And then the King of Pentacles comes in, which exudes a little bit of control, gaining the upper hand. Aries, if this is you, you probably tried to rein this in, make it mine. You know, Aries loves the chase. You want to lock it down a little bit. This might have scared your person off. But it looks like you guys are coming back together. 9 of Cups. If there was a pause or a break or just a little bit of coolness or being aloof within the relationship, maybe just feeling less connected than you typically are, because I'm not seeing major heartache or heartbreak or anything. It's just kind of an emotional distance. But you come back all the stronger for it, because while you were in your own kind of headspace and your own emotional arena, healing was being done so that this particular relationship could strengthen. You're going to go through another similar phase of separation again, where the doubts and insecurities come up. One person might start saying those things that are said during Venus retrograde cycles. Where is this going? What do you want to come from this? Is there going to be a commitment? Do you see us working out in the long run? Do you want children? What does your future look like? Where do you want to retire? You know, blah, 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 blah. All the things, the 7 of Wands things. Trying to find out if this person is going to fit your life in the long haul. And right now, the answer is I don't know. And the answer is the same as that Hanged Man. You just don't know. The universe doesn't know. The other person doesn't know. I get the sense that both of you are going through your own levels of healing. And so a lot depends on your own mutual progression, or your individual progression, on whether or not you can come together mutually in a relationship. But when the Temperance card comes out, there's always divine stuff at hand. There's always spirits and guides and angels and planets all working on your behalf for both of you. And now it doesn't mean that the universe is trying to bring you together, but there's more to experience from this. That every day, every minute, every experience that you have together, every text message, you're building upon that energy. That's what you're basing the relationship on. And you have to become really aware of that. And you have to become really aware of how negative thoughts can really affect your relationship as well. If you notice, if you're having a bad day here and there, bad days, right? Like those emotional spirals. You know, you might wake up on the wrong side of the bed, and that was probably the best part of that day. You know, when you're in the low vibration energy, you tend to attract a low vibration energy. So first of all, be really conscious of the energy that you're in when you attract somebody into your life, and then be really conscious of how your own personal vibration can affect the relationship. Maybe you're aware of it, but your person isn't, and maybe that is something that you need to teach them. Maybe that's something that needs to be talked about. You know, maybe sharing the idea that where you are mentally in your headspace with another person, how sacred that energy is. And that, you know, we're not responsible for each other's happiness in relationships. Like, seriously, preach. This is my biggest thing. Like, I am not here to serve you and make sure you are happy. Nor do I expect you to do that for me. What I will do, however, if I love you and I respect this relationship and I respect what we're about, I will be damn careful about where I am at emotionally as to not let it affect us. There are 3 energies that form a relationship: your energy, your partner's energy, and the energy of the couple, what you get when those two energies mix together. Like they say, oil and vinegar, right? The two don't mix. Sometimes people don't mix, sometimes people mix too good. You don't want to be codependent. No one else should be relying on you for their happiness, nor should you be reliant on anybody else. But if you're in a shitty headspace, then you're going to be in a shitty relationship. That's just how it goes. And if you're doing all the things right, but your partner is getting kind of stuck in the fray and the thoughts and the fears that are so prevalent at this time, it would probably be a service to both of you for you to expose them to the theories, to show them how their energy affects you as a couple and how important it is to kind of hold space for each other. All right, Aries, I think that covers everything. Wow, 45 minutes. I am really sorry. There was a lot to say. I wish you the very best throughout May. I'll be popping in here and there with updates throughout the month. But I think it's going to be really good. Just be patient with yourself, Aries, and allow that healing to come in. And please know that what you bring to the table, people want it and they need it. And you're really an important part of this world, of this ecosystem. You need to be in your authenticity, and you need to manifest from that place as well. Allow the mental healing to occur this month and give your mind a rest. Give your mind and your heart and your soul a little bit of a rest. All right, Aries, take care. Bye.